going from uncomfortable to unforgettable. What does that mean? We're going to be talking about how to grow as a travel professional. And one of the things that I think we forget about, we get so business minded that we forget that we're human beings, and we need to be more personal minded. We need to think about how anytime that my business grew, I first needed to grow. I needed to personally grow. I needed to grow in different areas in order for my business to grow. I needed to, it's just like anything else in life, right? So I want us to always be mindful of the fact that as we grow professionally, there's a lot of personal development involved in that professional growth. One of the things that I wanted to just chat with about that concept today was embracing the unfamiliar.
So two things that I feel like the first time we ever had to do something that was uncomfortable, that we were nervous about. One was building our first travel website. I think that was, we weren't sure how to do it, the right way to do it. And there was 100 different ways, and we'd never built a website before. The second thing that I can think of right now is going to bridal shows, because we're like, all right, well, we want to meet our wedding couples, and we didn't know yet about how to do it on online marketing. So we were doing it the old school, go to events, go to bridal shows.
Again, that's what we were being taught too.
Right. We were being taught that.
Every time you meet with anybody, like your host agency person, your BDMs, all of that's what they did. That was the only marketing they knew how to even tell agents to do.
Right. But I've always had a go big or go home mentality. So I thought, if we're going to go to a bridal show, which I had never been to before, didn't know what to expect.
There's a lot of firsts when it comes to being an entrepreneur.
But we did it. We didn't let that stop us. That we were determined. I mean, you have to be determined in business. In anything in life where you're going to have obstacles, you really have to be determined. You're going to win at this. Like, you are not going to let anything stop you.
I think that what made it kind of so scary sometimes was that we weren't at a place where we were making profit in our business, but we knew that we wanted to make profit. Otherwise, it's not a business. We had to take calculated risks with our investment. But even just the bridal show alone, you guys know they're expensive. That's an investment and a risk in and of itself. And then we're like, okay, now we got to really step up our game and spend all this money to have this amazing display on top of it. And it was just like, you guys have heard my story. It's like, how much more money do I need to spend in order to finally get to this place of profit? So we have to be able to push ourselves outside of our comfort zones. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was making a habit of doing things for the first time. I think that we get so stuck in these comfort zones, right? Because they're comfortable. But
that's why they're called comfort
zones. But if we start making a habit of doing first, then we start creating habits in our life where it's not as scary to do something for the first time. So because true growth lies beyond the comfort zone. We all have heard probably the saying, where nothing good grows inside a comfort zone, or the only thing that grows in a comfort zone is your waistline, right? So we don't want that to happen. So we want to always be positioning ourselves to recognize when we're in this place of comfort zone and we're just zoning out in our comfort zone. We have to be able to recognize that so that we can break free from that stagnation. And just one of these ideas came to me that, hey, if we are going to propel ourselves and get outside of this place of familiarity, strive for more, really achieve the things that we want to achieve. We have goals. It's not like we don't want to stay in this place of comfort. We don't want to stay in this place of stagnation, because we do have goals and we do want to reach them. But sometimes we just like that motivation and that drive and those things that, we feel like we need in order to break through and get past that can be really challenging when we rely solely on the way we've always done things.
Part of the reason we like to stay in comfort zones is because it's safe. Not always because it's comfortable, but because it's safe, right? Because taking risks is not always safe.
We want to create these habits of first. So the one thing that you can do is to remind yourself, just like we did today, about the first that we've done. Right? Like, we had to build this website. That was scary. That was intimidating. We had to go through these things, because sometimes we do need to go back and realize, okay, I have done something new before and I've had success with it. right? I stepped out, I started a travel business, and I had my first client. I stepped out and I created a website, and my first person came through the contact form. It worked, right? I stepped out, I made a lead magnet for the first time, and somebody opted in for it, right? So we have to like recognize and give ourselves pats on the back that we have done these things, so that we can cheer ourselves up and gear ourselves up to realize, like, I can do this. I might feel a little bit intimidated. I might feel a little bit scared. I might feel like I'm, not equipped or not capable. But look at what I've done back here. I've already done these things.
Sure.
So because I've done those things and I was scared and unfamiliar and didn't feel capable then, and I achieved it, then I can continue doing these next things that are needed. Here's just a few things that we have experienced the firsts in, just so that you guys can know that we've all been there. Okay, so you don't ever have to be like thinking that you're not where other people are at. Of course you're not, because we've all have to go through something first, right? It's not like we're trying to compete. We're really only competing with ourselves when it comes to, trying to achieve the things that we want in life. So obviously becoming a destination wedding expert, like choosing, that was a choice that I made. I decided that I was going to focus on the romance travel niche, initially honeymoons. So I had to make that decision first, but then I was like, destination weddings, this is what I could see was going to catapult my business. It was going to have a snowball effect. I would be able to work smarter, not harder.
So in all fairness, Tami did take a big risk. Again, being like, I could just stay with honeymoons and regular trips with people or family and friends, but we knew we needed to grow our business.
I didn't feel capable. I didn't feel qualified. Right. Those are the things that keep us from doing stuff. We don't feel capable. We don't feel qualified. The first time we charged a professional planning fee.
Oh, yeah, that was
like, I did it live in person with people, like sitting across the table at a coffee shop. And that was the first time I was like, I have a professional planning fee, and they paid me right there. They gave me a check right on the spot.
We started out our business. One of our competing strategies was telling everyone we were free.
That was part of our marketing message.
When we were first in the travel business, we're like, and we don't charge any fees over our competition. And then we had a marketer tell us and say, you need to start charging. And we didn't believe them. You need to be charging, because that's going to vet your clients. And that's when we're like, you know what? Now we understand. It does make sense. And we were still scared.
It was scary
because we had never done it before.
Because I thought, oh no, I'm not going to get this client because I'm charging a fee.
We're always afraid.
This is, our mind. So that's why we have to do something and make habits of doing something and stretching ourselves. Even when it doesn't make sense here sometimes. The first time we invested in private coaching, that was a big deal. Like, we were like, okay, because we all seem to think that, well, if I go over here and learn this, and I go over here and this, and I learn that, and I go over here and learn that, and then all of a sudden we think that we're just going to magically be able to put it all together. But sometimes we really do need to invest in a coach who can like just lay it all out and give you the strategy that you simply are just going to walk out and implement. Because we get stuck again. We get stuck because there's too many ideas and too many different ways to do something. And so then we're stalling.
Once we really invested in some coaching, the acceleration
because
that moved us forward was 10 times what we could have done on our own.
Now we weigh everything through. We need to get someplace fast. I don't have time to waste. I don't have days to waste, weeks to waste, months to waste, because then I'm really costing myself way more money than it would be to just hire the coach to get me to where I need to go.
But I just want to pay somebody to help me, tell me what to do, how to do it. I'm tired of trying to research this garbage. Just tell me what I need to do, what form I need to fill out, where I need to send it. And that's kind of like coaching.
First time I utilized a high-end answering service.
Oh, I remember that.
This was like a huge decision for me, but guys, I honestly had no life. This time of year, January to April, I had zero life because I was literally tied to my desk, because I have a phone on my desk, and I just couldn't, I'd never had the freedom to ever be able to enjoy the work from home life. Joining associations and networks, launching a YouTube channel, starting a blog, onboarding our first independent contractor, hiring my first assistant.
We've had a ton of
retiring Lou from his teaching career so that we could work our business full time. But all of these were, you know, things that we had to do for the first time in order to go to where we wanted to go. So I want you to really think about, am I where I want to be in my business? And what do I need to do in order to get to where I want to go? And what is the thing that I need to do for the first time? Because we know that if we keep doing things the same way, we'll keep getting the same results. So we have to do something different. So I wanted to make this a little bit more fun, to make doing first a daily practice, because I do think that we as human beings, like Lou said, we like the safe zone, the comfort zone. We stay in our little bubbles, our little routines, and routines are good. Routines are healthy. But I want you to think about, you know, really expanding yourself personally so that it becomes more natural to do in business. So let's say, for example, you want to read a book, but you choose a genre that you normally wouldn't. So you go to the library and you're like, I'm going to do something the first time, and I'm going to read a book about blank, you know, and it has nothing to do with what you would normally go with. So you're trying to expand yourself and do something different and do something for the first time. And or maybe opt for a training session during your TV downtime instead of watching TV. Like maybe that's your time where you get your laptop out and you're like, okay, I'm going to go watch that webinar about whatever XYZ resort, because I need to, you know, keep my skills set up. Like, so I'm going to do that for the first time ever, right? Seek private coaching, like I had put up there. Join a community of like-minded individuals. Maybe that's something you need to do for the first time, and you've never, maybe you've joined communities, but you've never plugged in. You've never contributed. You've never, you know, really stayed connected and made an effort within that community. Because of course you always get out of anything what you put in. Experiment with a new recipe. Try something new. Maybe make it a habit of every single week doing one new recipe. Like, because you're going to plan, you're going to be thinking about it, and then you're going to become comfortable in choosing to do something new and choosing to do something for the first time. Maybe doing a different workout, or a different class, or a different sport, a different type of activity. Attend a different church, maybe go to church for the first time, go to a conference, a church conference, or something like that for the first time, even if you have to go by yourself. Normally you've always wanted to go with other people, but you're willing to step out and go to a conference or something like that, or Bible study by yourself. Shop at an unfamiliar store, right? We always go to the same store. Go someplace unfamiliar, specifically look something up. Discover a new family game. That's always something that you can do. Trying new games and activities and stuff with your kids. Going to a different restaurant, or ordering something outside of your typical preferences. Like really stretching yourself outside of the norm. Okay. I believe that your entrepreneurial journey is an adventure waiting to unfold. But we find a lot of times that people stay in the same spot, and year after year, it's the same. They get bored, you know, or they're not growing. They want the goals. They want to have a 20K wedding day. They want to do a destination wedding, but they haven't, you know, maybe done some of the things that they needed to do first in order to achieve the goal, right? If I would have, like, first out of the gate, destination wedding, that was a 20K destination wedding, like I had over 100 people attend that wedding, I would have failed because I didn't have the practice. Experience. I didn't understand how to manage a group. I didn't understand the nuances of group travel and all the little things, and I didn't have systems and processes in place in order to, I had to do that as I went. As I said yes to the first destination wedding group, that's when I had to learn what was needed so that I could then eventually create processes and systems to make my life easier.